Hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I'm back with a little bit of a chat about the upcoming medium changes, how they're going to affect the game, in my opinion, and how you're going to have to adjust, what you're going to be up to. Basically, with the nerfs to penetration and turret armor of tanks like the T-54, the T-62A, the Object 140, I'm expecting there to be a lot more heavy tanks and TDs in game. And I don't think that's without of the realm of possibility. I really do believe that already we're seeing a lot of heavy tanks in game, and that's something that I've been doing a lot lately myself, been playing a lot of heavy tank work, and it's been great fun, really enjoying it, having a great time, and rolling a lot of E100 IS4s, IS7s, that kind of tank, particularly real heavy tanks, not E5s and 215Bs so much, although I have actually had some fun games in those as well. And this is all tier 10 stuff, but it's going to be relevant for any tier and any tier you want to play. And what I determined to do was basically drive out and be really aggressive in heavy tanks and see if I couldn't stay alive for a while and highlight some of the skills you're going to need to actually get up and go when the going gets tough. And it's going to get tough. I can see a whole network of heavy tank love coming to fruition over the next wee while. I'd recommend, if you are looking for a downgrade from, well, not a downgrade, but a sideways step from the good old medium playstyle to a bigger, more majestic playstyle, a big bone playstyle for a big bone fella like me, I'd suggest you might start looking at a tank like the E100 or the IS4 or the IS7. Tanks that can really side scrape and do the business at tier 10. This boy here, the Jagdpanzer E100, is also a very strong tank. I really enjoyed that. The YOLO Wag and the Object 263, they're all pretty good. If you want to stick with that heavy that's mobile, then you're more than likely going to go something like an E5 or a T110 E5 or something along those lines. And something that a lot of people forget about, the T110 E4 is actually a great utility vehicle. It's got the gun of an E100, but more accurate with much better pan. It's got that kind of mobility, that kind of gun depression and armor profile. It's just an all-round good tank. And I'd highly recommend going one of those lines if you're looking for a new stock in trade at tier 10. Now, you can see in this game, I'm driving an Object 140, and I'm really going to miss the 140's absolute powerhouse pack of tools that it's got at the moment. But it doesn't mean it's going to be ruined as a tank, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to drive medium successfully at this tier. You're just going to have to adjust, and a lot of guys won't have to adjust too much. Those who drive tanks like Leopards and FV4202s and the like, they've probably already gotten used to not treating their mediums like heavy tanks. And you can see here I'm really being aggressive, and I know I've got the upper glacis to bounce and the turret when I need it, and it gives you that ability to really push up and be an aggressive human, like you're driving a, for all intents and purposes, a 50km/h heavy tank. So I'm not going to muck around too much here. I just really wanted to use this as a space to talk about it, and I don't want to start pretending that it's going to be a huge change. But I think the way things happen with people, the way people look at the game and they say, well, this one's been nerfed, I've got to change. Now what's the next overpowered tank? And I really do think that that's how things go. I mean, I got the 62A because I thought it was just overpowered as all hell, and I saw freaks driving around in it, and it didn't work that way. And we all know what happens. The driver is usually the thing that makes the tank, not the tank making the driver. So what you're going to find here is I'm going to be quite comfortable moving along and changing tanks, because I change tanks all the time. But a lot of people will have to really adjust their playstyles, and they're going to play tanks like the E100, like the IS4, and they're going to have to play them in a different manner. And you can see I'm still having some ping issues. Even though the ping says 110, it certainly isn't playing like 110 ping. The reticle and the gun are not really having a friendly time together. You can see it's jerking around all over the place there. I don't know if that makes it harder for the waffle tractor to hit me or not, but either way, we get the kill on him eventually. I'm just jerking back and forward. It's going to be a very different playstyle playing the new heavy meta, which I think is something that's really going to come into effect as opposed to playing the medium meta. Now, without further ado, let's go and have a chat about this heavy style of play in the E100. Now, it doesn't get much bigger and heavier than this. The thing I love about this tank is not so much just the armor profile, although the armor profile can be very, very good. It's the gun. The gun has 640 alpha. It's a proper 150mm gun, and that means that it's got a huge intimidation factor. Now, the team doesn't perform particularly well in this one, and that's all there is to it. I mean, there's a T-54 up there. He's going to get away with it. We're a little bit slow on the uptake. But you're going to see how much work I do angling here. Their E100 is just going to roll across the top here and not get touched. Seriously. Just, there's 4 TDs behind me. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not one of them put a shot into that E100. You knew you were going to be up against it when you see things happening like that. But we're just going to do our level best here. So I figure the best chance the team has is for me to hold this line, to actually stop their advance here, and then maybe the TDs behind me can get off their butts and do some damage. So what I'm doing is I'm going to side scrape off this big ass bit of rock here. It's covering up that lower glacis and that drive well. Now the big issue with the E100 is the cheeks. The cheeks are very easily penned by heat when you're flat. So you can see I'm not actually looking at the tanks over there until I'm ready to fire. And then I'm angling my cheeks away immediately so that all I really have to shoot at is a super angled, very, very hard to pen turret. Now I'm doing my level best. I'm only turning back to take a shot, and I'm not mucking around. Now that's a HE shell. They can't pen, so they're firing HE. That's fine. That's part of the game. I'm not stopping. I'm absolutely stopping for no man, no way, no how. Firing on the move all the time. There's 4, 5 tanks in front of me here. I'm side scraping. They're just wrecking my team. Another HE shell comes in. I've got to be very aware of tanks that are going to start moving up on my flank here. And at some point, I'm going to have to get up and push up because they're just going to flank me on the left. And there's now guys behind me who just don't appear to be doing anything, which is an issue. Don't take shots too in big heavies like this with 150mm guns that aren't really likely to go in. You want to make sure that your shot is going to have a really good chance. That's a very good chance, and we take a HE shell back. Fairly solid hit point trade, that one. They've got an E100 right up the back there who's not doing a whole lot of anything to anyone, thank God. Not to worry. I'm still side scraping. Very soon you're going to see there's an IS-4 who pushes up on my left. Now he's going to push up here with a 183, a Jagdpanzer E100, and a grill behind me. That's 3 monstrously large TDs. He should be evaporated. He doesn't, just in case you were wondering. He doesn't get evaporated. I enjoy this. This is so like the game was when I started. It was a really big, heavy brawl fest. I am hoping to God that this is how it goes. Look at my left. There's an IS-4 there coming over the top of the hill. He's spotted. I mean, he's absolutely spotted. There's an E100 at the back shooting me. There's an E75. There's a T-54. He's just rolling across the top. I'm going to hit him. There you go. No worries. The grill's shot there, 183. Good job. No, he doesn't take any other damage. I'm going to push up around here. I don't have a lot of choices. We're just running out of options. Get another shot in on the IS-4. Now, if you watch the way I drive this tank, now this isn't always going to work, but I'm angling at all times to the incoming fire. And then you'll drive forward, you'll move backwards. You'll see that even that little bit of brush there, I'm trying to try and use that just to disguise my lower glacis. We get a little bit unlucky. I'm going to try and pull back behind the carcass of this Russian medium here. Not going to really get a lot of luck. We need to have an average roll, and we get a sub-average roll, so we don't kill the IS-4, and that's the end of the game for me. But not a bad game, really. A game in which I did a hell of a lot of damage. I held a whole bunch of tanks, and I did my level best. Now, that's the E100. The E100 is a big, big tank, and it has that massive, big intimidation factor. This is a different kettle of fish. This is the IS-4. Now this has even better armor for its tier. The side armor on this is ferocious. You can really over-angle it and get some good results. And And it's also got quite a solid gun. It's the same gun as you're going to get on the tank that's on the left of me here, the IS-8, and it's very, very nippy. You can see here, I'm keeping pace with all these tanks apart from the IS-7. The IS-8 could go faster than me, but I'm quite comfortable getting up to 35, 40 kilometers an hour. And it's very, very good in terms of traverse for a tank with such a heavy armor profile. And I drive it very aggressively. You're going to see here, I'm going to push right down. Now, the IS-7's taking that left area. I'm going to assume, again, an on-the-move shot, smack bang into the E75. I'm going to assume that there are no TDs down the left because the IS-7 hasn't been spotted. And there is our first customer. Now, you see the angle I'm at. He's going to hit point trade, and there's just nothing you can do about that. We've put him in a tough situation. He has to get shots in on us. I'm expecting him to push back. He's not going to go in and side scrape. We get another shot in. We've only taken one to the track so far. We're hugging up hard, but he's moving right back, which means he should be taking fire from a lot of other tanks. There's a lot of people behind me, but they're not really hitting him. Look how much I'm over-angling here. I'm really leaning it out and making him work around to get the shot. Now, we're getting AP rounds in because he's coming out sideways. He's having to use heat and overextend, but he hasn't really been punished for it up until now. Still, solid play. Had a job to do. Watch this. There's an Object 140 pops on my right, and he hits me once. He's going to hit me again. I'm surrounded. I'm in a really bad position. Stop. Find a safe spot. Really quieten down. Angle to the target, and then worry about things. And you can see I'm angling away from that I-140 until I'm unspotted. Then I can reset everything. I can get in and start working my angles again. And if I see another target, I can get back to work. It's got a big hit point pool, 2,200. So you can afford sometimes to absorb a little bit of that damage. And now the 140s come down, and guess who's waiting to say hello? Love it. And now there's a 140 over there. I've got a grill on my left. Switch up to HE. Look for a chance to get the shot in. Bang, 489. Drop adrenaline and wiggle and giggle. Now, the IS-4 is quite a tough tank. It will get shots. Bounce shots that you really don't think it will. Even at this angle, there's not a lot of spots on it that you can hit if you're in a bit of a hurry, like that grill is, because you know you're getting hammered. We're going to turn around here, just start angling up again to the next target. I mean, I hope people who are watching this and who haven't driven Tier 10 heavies and are wondering what it's all about are going to start taking note, because you can't just roll out and drive a Tier 10 heavy and just roll forward and be successful. You've got to know how to angle your tank, and you've got to know how to watch the rest of the map. And it's just like driving a Tier 10 medium. There was no easy pass marks with the 140 and the T62A. Go noob, says the dead IS-7. And I just say, seriously. T62As and 140s were good because people knew how to drive them. Bad drivers in 62As and 140s were a menace and were easily killed. If you can take a tank like the IS-4 or the IS-7, they're going to be the next big thing, I think, at Tier 10. And they're going to be really successful because they are really, really good tanks, and really good drivers are going to be able to get a hell of a lot out of it. Now, this week, I'm going to be doing a lot of heavy stuff. So I hope you look forward to that. And then next week, we're going to start doing a lot more reviews again, and I'm going to start doing some streaming too. I'm just praying to God that this bloody internet gets itself sorted out. I'm Bushka on Blitz, guys. Love your work. Thank you so much for coming along and being part of the journey. This has been massive for me. When this little channel kicked off a long time ago, I had no idea that it was going to get to these kind of heights, or that I was going to have so many people watching. We have 500,000 views every 28 days now. 500,000. That's absolutely massive for me. I celebrated when we hit 1 million views. We're getting 500,000 views every 28 days. So tell your friends, tell your family, get everyone to come along to the channel. Let's have a big ass party with tanks. Love your work, look after your family, stay safe on the battlefield, and bye for now.